and obviously by what Boruto is doing, like he's like, yeah, bro, this is crazy. Like Boruto, you're actually a nifty guy. Fighting you is it makes my heart pump. And Dame is out here like, oh, Boruto's the one making Earth tremble. That's cool. Anyways, let me grab these snacks and
Yeah,
finish
no,
watching
it's
this.
show don't tell. Show is more important than tell. They say Jorah's strong, but they've shown Daemon is the strongest. So it's not really any
Literally,
way getting
so
around that. It's
it's
also
like
just
it's all the small things that Damon, all the little nuances that he does. Right.
exactly.
That's really it.
Because here's my thing, Black. Let's just say that Daemon doesn't do anything. How does
Mhm.
Mamushi win against a passive Daemon? Let's say he's asleep on Ada's lap. If he's trying, that's a whole other story. That's just added on top of the passive. That's an active Daemon. If Ada's trying, that's something else on top of it. See, I'm thinking something like, if you've seen My Hero Academia, it's like Deku versus Overhaul when Ares on Deku's back. He's unstoppable
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah, basically. Yeah, you're right. And it's like, and it sucks that I don't know. I don't know if they're just like, because I don't see how Damon can do that. It's like he would just sit there. He's obviously good. It's in character for him to like say if Mamushi is there, he's not just gonna sit there because he knows if he just keeps a hand on her shoulder, literally nothing and no one can touch or do anything to him. But he's gonna look Mamushi in his face and he's gonna get excited. And the only way Damon loses is if the world gets destroyed because either Boruto and Kabuki got devoured somewhere else, like offsite, and Damon isn't around, or at the end of the day, like I said before, he's strong, he's arrogant, he has a reason to be. So I don't know if it's quite arrogance, but also he's a kid. So if you can find a way to exploit that, the fact that he's a kid, which I don't think someone like Namushi in this case could. Like there might be someone like a stronger opponent, or maybe somewhere down the line a Boruto, or maybe even a Kawaki, or maybe even a Himawari. Someone who could think like a ninja can exploit the fact that he's a kid and he likes challenges. He gets excited with strong opponents. That's the way to beat him. In Namushi's case, the only winning factor he has is separating Ada from Damon. And if Damon decides to not leave his side, I don't know how he beats him.
Yeah, no, see, well, that's what I was thinking. I think there is another way for Mamushi to get some sort of upper hand. So you're going to think this is ridiculous. So it's not going to be by taking someone else hostage and threatening Daemon, for example. Oh, get away from Ada, or I kill Sarada right now. And then Ada wants it's similar to what happened with like Nagato, Yahiko, and Konan with Hanzo, a situation like that. I don't think he's going to do that route. Rather, what I'm thinking, we know he can split infinitely. And think about like Naruto versus Kimimaro, to where he made like 1,000 clones surrounding Kimimaro. If Bug can do that, but at a far enough distance to where Daemon can't just go in the circle and kill him all before Ada, then he can basically start a siege, like a castle siege. He can dry them up of resources. Ada's hungry, Mamushi's gonna destroy every fridge in that circle radius before Ada can get to him. So I think that's like the only way. It would take a couple weeks, maybe months. I don't know if Ada even needs sustenance. She's a little bit weird with all of that. But that's my only way that I can even imagine him winning, is Ada just giving up, because she just, it's like hunting a deer. The deer's faster than you, but if we can run a marathon, that deer's going to tire out. And that's sort of how humans survived back in the day.
Yeah, if he's just on her back and she decides yeah, I don't. Ikimoto's gonna. He's not. I don't. Which is why I don't think he's gonna do this, because like, let's say he sieges, and
Which is so
even if
ridiculous.
even if he sieges though, but like let's say Damon hops on her back and she just flies away. Like, is he just gonna follow her? Like, because the abilities would still be in effect essentially. So he could just. They're not. I don't think they would do this, but like she could essentially just live with Damon on her back forever.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, is that the siege is going to have to be a wide area, because otherwise Daemon would just be able to just get rid of all the Mamushi clones. So it's going to have to be, like, think about like Naruto versus Kimimaro, how he's surrounding him in that valley. Imagine instead of the valley, it's the entire land of fire. It's like, that's how big the circle
That's
is.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think one of the key factors is going to be the claw mark teleportation jutsu. That's how, because if you pay attention, one of the only times Damon is
Mm.
like, I can't say caught off or like surprised by code, but it's like that claw mark jutsu, regardless of how strong you are, it's still almost not as instantaneous as Fire Raijin, but it's still like instantaneous. Like every time Code used it against Damon, it was like one of those annoying things, like how Jigen or Ishiki would react to
But he can
Sasuke's
only take
Rinnegan. It's like,
himself instantly. He can't teleport other people. We see that consistently in the Code arc. That's one of the problems. And you can say that Code was weak at the time or whatever. I think that based on how the Resendon from Borushiki scaling 2 or above Code, realistically above, Daemon scaling above Mamushi, it's going to be the same thing. And same for Sarada.
Yeah.
Sarada couldn't be dragged through the claw marks either. In fact, Sarada dragged Hidari out of the claw mark. Same with Boruto, dragged Code out of the claw mark. If Mamushi tries it, he's going to regret it against Daemon.
No, against Daemon for sure. I'm saying as far as like the ability itself, that would be the best way to separate Ada from Daemon. Or let's say if Daemon is like, let's say he takes a protective distance, like he's within a distance where he's confident enough he can reach the Ada in a split second if he needs to. But like a claw mark goes like unnoticed, maybe somewhere, some way, somehow, right? He just waits. I don't think he's like he had to be smart enough. So if there's too many Mamushi's clone, you could throw this plan out the window. But if he just waits, right, a fraction of a second, let's say in the midst of battle, for Daemon to remove his hands from Ada and slip the tiniest of tiniest claw marks somewhere on her clothing, somewhere on her back, and then boom, distract them for a little bit longer and randomly get another Mamushi clone to slip through that claw mark and pull it through, that could work. But
arguably, we know Kawaki can shrink him, but if he can't sense
I don't think that would work. But if we take into account Daemon is only able to do what we've seen so far, which I think he's going to have at the very least one more ability to show. I don't know if it's going to be some type of projectile like type ability because everything has been within close distance for him. So I don't know if Mamushi can use that to his advantage if that's what you think.
I was thinking the opposite. Instead of the smallest claw mark possible, what if he goes for like a village-sized claw mark and basically has like a domain expansion? He can teleport anything inside the village anywhere.
So, okay, this is a good question. So if he covers like say they're on a battlefield, right? Everybody's standing up and Daemon is just holding Ada's hand and they're facing each other, they're facing Mamushi. If he turns like the entire like let's say what Shikadai did against Boruto in the Chunin exam, how he turned the entire ground into the shadow possession. Like say hypothetically Mamushi turns the entire ground into the claw marks. Would Daemon and Ada fall through, or is it I don't know, would it cause some type of like chain reaction loophole effect, or would they fall through?
That's funny.
I don't know.
See, what you're thinking, I think, is something that like Hidari did, where he just put like 20 claw marks on the ground. I wasn't thinking that. I was thinking one giant
like
claw
spread.
mark.
Like, yeah, I'm thinking what you're saying, like one full spread.
Okay.
So, like, are they gonna fall through just straight through that?
Because at that point, there's not ground to stand on, so you can't really pull. You could just if you try and pull Mamushi up, it's gonna work. He's gonna go flying up, but you're gonna go flying down. So the only way out of that would be if you push down off of Mamushi to send yourself up. But like, could you do that infinitely? What if Mamushi just doesn't grab you? You're just gonna fall.
That's the thing. And check this out: Daemon can't fly, so he would have no choice but to figure out a way around that.
But Ada can, and Ada, the moment that happens, I think she would just choose to levitate. And then similar to Naruto saving Sasuke in the lava dimension, she'll just do that. And Daemon could probably just figure something out anyways, like Sasuke did.
Yeah. So if they're honestly, if they're together on the battlefield, that's
it's over.
It's hard. Yeah, it's a hard deal to stop.
Yeah,
I don't see a way.
I agree. Okay. But I think Free Game had another question.
He did have another, but then we just kept on going.
We had a lot to
say. I think he stepped out. But yeah, bro. I mean, as far as like that, honestly, don't even think right now. Like we're gonna be focused on Boruto's karma and him versus Mamushi, and then eventually Kawaki, eventually even Himawari. I don't think we're gonna get Daemon until maybe like chapter 32, maybe 30, maybe the end of 31, chapter 32.
It depends on if Ikimoto's going to be writing like how Kishimoto wrote his stories. And me and Conway were sort of getting into this in the last podcast last night. But the way Kishimoto writes his finales, he's really focusing on making the finale the final thing. Think about Konoha Crush. What was the final fight of that, if you had to guess? Or had to like say?
With the Konoha Crush arc, that's part 1, right?
Yeah, that's after the Chunin exams. That's like with Orochimaru's invasion.
Oh, that's
the big fight, the like creme de la creme.
I'm about to say, is it the hospital battle?
That's Sasuke retrieval that you're thinking, I think.
Oh, is that the start? I mean, then
Sasuke retrieval, yeah.
Would it be technically the Gaara versus Naruto? Or
yes, yeah, okay, exactly, yeah. So Naruto versus Gaara. think about everything that leads up to that. And to be fair, we weren't really expecting necessarily Naruto versus Gaara when we like start that arc, but leading up to that, we
Oh,
have
yeah, yeah.
episodes before that. We have Gaara's backstory for like 2 episodes when we think we're about to get to Naruto versus Gaara. Before that, we have what we thought we were leading up to is the big final fight, the rematch between Sasuke versus Gaara, since the first one was interrupted that we weren't expecting in the first place. We have Shino versus Konkuro. That was an episode. Shikamaru and I guess Asuma versus those like sound Joni that were following them. That's an episode. You have Tamari versus Sasuke, technically. You have Hiruzen versus Orochimaru. He has to get that out of the way first, and then you got to do a lot of backstory there. There's just like 20 things that he has to get out of the way before he can finally start the final fight. Same with Sasuke retrieval arc. You have Naruto versus Sasuke as the final fight, but Naruto catches up to Sasuke right at the end of the final Kimimaro fight, which you have to have the sand trio come in before that, and then you have to have the 4 sound ninja fights before that. So, and then you have Sasuke's backstory before, really intertwined, but like in the manga, before Naruto versus Sasuke. So like he's really making sure the final thing is the final thing, but you don't know when that final thing is necessarily going to start because you're sitting there like 10 episodes before Naruto finally starts to actually get to the fight against Gaara, thinking that it's about to start. Same with Naruto versus Sasuke. Naruto catches up to the valley like 5 episodes later. The fight's really beginning. it's kind of crazy with that. So it depends if Ikimoto's going to write the story like that.
Yeah, I think Ikimoto does a more unorthodox way as opposed to that approach because
Hmm.
I would for Two Blue Vortex at the very least because I think that's safer to take because that's completely Ikimoto's work, whereas like Naruto Next Generation is just kind of split. But for at least Two Blue Vortex, the way he's been ending off these arcs, at least the past 3 arcs with like the Boruto's return to the village, the Sand Village arc, I would say. Oh, hold on, give me 1 second.
Oh, good. Well, I wonder if anyone has any questions anywhere, such as space. Man, you guys have been doing a lot of streams with the cloud recently. It's because Conway's doing school throughout December, so he's mostly unavailable. But also because they're streaming a lot too. Also, probably because like December is like a big month for YouTube and really content creation in general because of ads and all that. But just in general as well, people are off of school and stuff. It's a great time. And it's just a nice time of year, and people are really like invested and like really excited this time of year. It's kind of hype.
All right, I'm
So there
back.
you go. Welcome back.
Yes, sir. My bad. What was I saying about the
How Ikimoto's writing style is different from Kishimoto with the finales.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that unorthodox approach. So like with the first couple of arcs, like I don't the the characters you would least expect are the ones to step up. So that's why I'm kind of leaning on Damon's fight to probably be the big fight in this arc. Because if you think about the first
Mhm.
arc, right, granted, Boruto's fights always take place after, and I think he gets that because he's the main character treatment, but always the first fight, or I would say the first major fight in the arcs are from characters you really wouldn't expect to step up. And for that, it would be like Himawari in the first arc versus Jura, and then Sarada in the second arc versus Ryu. And then following both fights we see in the first one, we got Boruto for company with Sarada and Kohamu, who's fighting, and then Boruto and then Kawaki, respectively, who fight against Jura in the second arc. So similarly here, it's hard because Boruto's the one who's kicking off this arc, and then he's already starting with the banger and his Karma Seal. So it already leads into the fact that
Mhm.
Ikimoto's been doing things unorthodox in his unorthodox fashion. But I still think Damon might have that big fight before the finale fight in this specific arc, like with Mamushi in the village.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. When do you think we're going to get the reveal of the Boruto and Momoshiki conversation, the conclusion of that? And what do you
Mm,
think that reveal is going to be?
it's definitely going to be flashback. Well, it has no choice but to be flashback.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
But I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe it's kind of like how like with Kabuki first pulled up to the battlefield, or even when Sarada first got her Mangekyo, where the chapter ends on the cliffhanger. The next chapter, it switches panels back and forth between them, and
Yeah.
also maybe a couple of shots of the backstory. So I
This
think it's safe
one,
to say maybe in 29, maybe in 20, if not the latest, I say chapter 30 we reveal because we have to see what they talked about, what Momoshiki
yeah,
agreed to.
yeah. You could say it's similar to the other instances that you listed. I think this one's a little bit bigger because not only is this the A story with the main character, but this is also with the overarching villain of part one. So this is like the creme de la creme in a way. Something I'll say is it's sort of similar to whenever characters say words, but for the audience, it's muted. So, for example, Sasuke versus Itachi, it ends with Itachi's forehead poke on Sasuke, and he like mutedly speaks the whatever words he says at the very end, like "I'll always love you," or not, well, that's at the very end at the Edo Tensei, but like the first final fight. What does he say? Like, "Sorry, there won't be a next time." But like the
Something
audience
like
doesn't
that.
get to hear that until the Mangekyo Sharingan. That's an unexpected thing, since up to that point we were led to believe that Itachi's evil. So he's probably saying, "Screw you, Sasuke, hope you die," or something. But other times when Kishimoto does this, for example, the War Arc, when the Five Kage are about to fight Madara, they're each mouthing mutedly something to Naruto. But it's not the unexpected angle. It's exactly what you think they're going to say. They're saying like, "We'll win," or whatever. It's like the most
Yeah.
obvious thing of all time. So you could say it's somewhat like that, but I don't know which direction it would be, whether it would be intentionally the opposite of what we would expect or exactly what we'd expect.
As far as like how it's presented, or as far as like the context, like whatever Momoshiki possibly agreed to.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Why do you think, outside of the possibility if he just ran out of pages, but that's probably the worst interpretation, why do you think Ikimoto chose to not show us the end of that conversation?
Because of conversations that we're having like this right now. We got to speculate. I think I don't know. I don't want to say like he. Well, yeah, it's like it's one of those you got to reveal certain things, but also if you can, and if it still works in the favor of the story, if you can hold on to something, hold on to it. But you can't hold on to something for so long that it becomes eventually diluted. So at the very least, we had to see Momoshiki, right? So he gave us Momoshiki. He gave us even a conversation and the big reveal that Momoshiki's depressed. So that's like some new information. So he gave us new information and then instantly shut us out with the idea of a door being open. It's just a matter of what happens once we walk through that door. So I think he done a good job. He gave us enough. It's not like he just revealed the same. If it was Momoshiki in the same mindset, like cursing out Boruto, being angry, and then he cuts out the conversation, I'd have been like, all right, what's going on? But the fact that he gave us a depressed Momoshiki, it adds insight. And then on top of that, it's not only is he depressed, but Boruto offered him the opportunity of a lifetime, and we don't see his answer. So now it's like, well, damn, what will Momoshiki even say in that moment? And if he does say yes, why? Which we can obviously assume if Jura wins in any iteration, it doesn't matter. It doesn't work well for Momoshiki. They're polar opposites, the Ten Tails and Otsutsuki. So I think that would be the only leverage I can see Boruto having over Momoshiki, but it's like one of those like we have to see.
Well, I do disagree with that based on depressed Momoshiki. If we take that at face value, then the good outcome there would be if Jura does kill Boruto.
Well, yeah, hoping that Jura kills Boruto, which that's what I'm saying. It comes from the idea of like, well, what would his answer even be in that moment? Because we know he's depressed.
Yep,
He's been wanting to die. So it's
exactly.
like you're trying to give him the opportunity to not die as
Well,
opposed to
exactly,
I don't
exactly.
know.
So that's why
Yeah,
I actually disagree with what you said earlier as well, that we needed to see Momoshiki there. The fact
you
that
think we could have you
well,
could
here's what
still
I'm saying. Here's what
go?
I'm saying. The whole scene in general of Boruto watching Himawari or whatever, you could have maybe included that, but the fact that Boruto closes his eyes and then we see the internal realm, that is an entire scene. Ikimoto chose to show us
Mhm.
like 5 chapters
Yeah,
ago, rather than cut that scene entirely, fill that rest of the chapter with something else, and save the
right.
entire flashback, that entire scene for later on. If he's going to flash back to the end of the conversation show, anyways, why is he selectively choosing to show us the first half of that conversation, or like the first whatever bit of it,
Okay, I
early
see what you're
rather than
saying.
all
I see
together?
what you're saying.
So he's
So
purposefully
like
giving
just
us the
see the
first part.
start. Maybe we could just see Momoshiki in that area, and then he cuts away from that scene. Is that what you're saying?
So my opinion is Ikimoto is trying to lead us into a direction of thinking that Momoshiki took the deal and that's what Boruto knows going forward, especially with the Koji, how did the deal go? Blah, blah, blah. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
almost forgot about that.
the reveal is going to be at the beginning of next chapter. It's going to start chapter 29 with the flashback to that. and it's going to be, surprise, surprise, Momoshiki's going to deny the deal, and then they're going to go from there, because that would be the subversion of expectations in a way.
That's actually so that leads into my question. So do you think we haven't got any, because normally you get the official leaks, the first official leak like 3 days before the chapter drops. Do
Yeah.
you think is it because of like personal? Because I know Japan just currently went through like a earthquake right now. Do you think it's like
Mm.
personal reasons that they're withholding this the leak with the official Naruto website? Do you think that they're stopping the leaks in general, or do you think the next chapter is so big that they can't afford to leak a single page officially?
I don't think that's it. There's always something that isn't the biggest thing ever. Think about like the Baryon mode chapters. Those are the biggest things of all time. But if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, the leaks were just like showing like the Kawaki inside the like the
Right.
Donzo hideout room or whatever. Like it's
Right.
the
So
nothing
like I'm
version
saying
of it.
we can't at least get for this chapter like a panel of maybe just Kawaki flying through the sky. Like at the very least. Like that would work for this chapter. And then
Yeah.
next thing we know is probably the biggest chapter ever. We see Momoshiki fight Momoshi or something like that. But I don't know. I just thought maybe it's just something that I entertained a little bit in my head, like maybe they're not giving us a leak because they can't find a useless enough page to give us.
No, that's funny. I have no idea why. I didn't even know there was an earthquake. My theory that I was speculating for fun, purely for fun, and because it's hilarious, I was speculating this with Kamui last night. So you know how Troy ruined Boruto last month, right?
No, you got to catch me up on that.
Yeah, so the YouTuber Simply Troy, he's on Twitter. He was in charge of the spoilers and how they released last month. That's
Oh
why we
yeah, yeah,
got
it's okay. Yeah, yeah. I know. Everybody was like complaining about how they
yeah,
came
yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we missed like the middle 7 pages of the chapter that everyone really wanted to see. Stupid
I
way
remember.
possible.
Yeah,
And so we're just blaming Troy. We're just doing that.
I was
He's
so
responsible
confused
for
because
all the
I
spoilers.
did see, I seen a tweet. I guess it was like a tweet that went around, well around the community at that time from him that was asking like suggestions on how to go from the spoilers moving forward. And I'm
Mm.
like, he sounds very like sorrowful in his tweet. I hope like I'm like, damn, people is really yeah.
Good. He
But hey, at the same
deserved
time, I understand we have been just receiving the leaks in TBV, especially in TBV, like just randomly, and we've been okay with it. I think it just took a couple people to open their eyes, like, guys, we're getting literally page 14 and then page 7 through 5 and
Yeah.
then page 1 through 30. It's like, what's going on here?
Exactly, it's crazy. Now, to be fair, it obviously, just addressing the elephant in the room, it's not actually anything to do with Troy, since Troy is in charge of the illegal,
Yeah.
unofficial spoilers, and this is like the official Viz one or whatever. So it's not that, but it's funny to blame him anyways.
Nah, that's funny. I'm
It's just
excited for the
anything
chapter.
goes
I think it
wrong.
drops this Thursday, so we getting it early on the 18th or the 19th, I think.
Yeah. No,
18th.
I agree with you on the spoiler, though. I think if they do reveal a spoiler, sneak peek page or whatever, I think it's going to be Kawaki. You said it's going to be Kawaki flying or whatever, and you're just throwing something out there. But I did give spoiler predictions. I think it's going to be Kawaki talking through the Yamanaka whatever, and he's going to be talking to either Mitsuki or Ada, basically either like asking like what to do, or he's going to be a little panicked, a little bit pressed, asking where Mamushi is so he can fly over there, blah, blah. That was my prediction. A little urgent with
Okay.
time.
Do you think we see what about Kawaki and Boruto in the same vicinity fighting together, or are they going to start off on different sectors of the
Well,
village?
that's why I feel like we need the Momoshiki conversation reveal, because from what Kawaki understands about Boruto, Boruto can't use his karma. So seeing him actively using it and fighting with it, Kawaki should have some thoughts about that.
Yeah, he might even for an instant like, is that Momoshiki? Just you never know. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's going to be like the multiple times that Naruto sees Sasuke, Sasuke sees Naruto with the big power, and he's like sizing himself up against Naruto.
The thing about for Kawaki that stood out to me mostly, I think right now he's going to prioritize like the chaos in the village, but I don't think a lot of people really noticed how he reacted to Shikamaru last chapter when he brought everyone together
Bro,
over the
I'm
intercoms.
saying I hate the
Like,
fact. Did Ikimoto forget? I criticize this heavily.
yeah, I know. I think you know where I'm going because like
Yeah.
Kawaki was heavily suspicious on the first person to be,
Thank you,
quote unquote,
bro.
helping Boruto. So it's like, all right, who's helping Boruto? And then there were all these like
Exactly.
hidden figures, hidden things. Like he's suspecting Shikamaru, but it's like he doesn't have enough proof. And then all of a sudden Shikamaru goes, first of all, the first criteria for this mission is you aren't still hostile to Boruto. Well, what does that even mean if your memory is supposed to be changed? You know, so from Kabuki's case, it's like, what do you mean by that? He's speaking in a sense that seems to familiarize himself at the very least in recent times of working with Boruto. So that automatically, at least for me, in Kabuki's head, should put all of the pieces of the puzzle together. Like Boruto has
Yeah,
been working with Shikamaru this entire time.
exactly. But they're not doing it. It doesn't make
I don't
sense for them
know,
to do
bro.
it
Those
after
dot,
this.
they gave Kabuki those famous Sumere dot dot dot. So I think
I
Kabuki is just
know.
holding off on it. I think he might do it. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be mad,
But
bro. I
Kawaki's
will
not the
be
type of
mad.
person to hold off on anything, though. Think about when he first sealed Naruto. He just, like, the second he got an answer from Boruto, he just flew straight over there. He doesn't wait
That
for
is
anything.
true. That is true.
Very
So
impulsive.
I don't know, man. I don't know if they get Mamushi out of here quickly. I don't know, or if they start continue like they continue the Daimyo's interrogation, they blow it up. I don't put it past Kawaki to put it in everybody's face. It's like you were the one who orchestrated this mission in cooperation with Boruto. What made you believe that we weren't hostile to Boruto? You know, something he could bring up any of these ideas, but it was just an interesting little nod I noticed because I was like, the first thing Kawaki did was get kind of lost in thought because he's like, "What do you mean we aren't still hostile to Boruto?" Or like he
Yeah.
said, I think he said Konoha still thinks Boruto is the enemy. So that should be suspicious wording to Kawaki right there. Because what do you mean still? He is still the enemy. So what do you mean they still think he's the enemy?
Yeah, well, get into the interrogation really quick, not to jump around, but you agree that the
Yeah,
timeline
yeah.
is entirely broken, right?
Bro, what the fuck is going on? Because they said several days later,
Yup.
at the end of the chapter, and Mabushi
Yes.
was on top of the thing,
Thank you.
Inojin said he was gonna master the jutsu in one day. And then Boruto told Sumire, can you fix my sword within the week? And then Katsuki Koji, we have all of these confirmations. Like, so Katsuki Koji is like, Mamushi's supposed to come in a week. He can come earlier.
What
Shikamaru confirms,
earlier? Like I think Ooh broke that down.
Yeah.
bro, because it's a dumb talk. Because, like, if Shikamaru confirms Mamushi is here, I'm happy you brought this up. If he confirms Mamushi is here a few days earlier, that means at the very fucking least, it has been 3 to 4 days. It's been
Right.
3 to 4 days since Boruto gave Sumire his sword, and since Inojin pulled up on Boruto and Kashin Koji. But at the end of the day, the one day that it took Inojin to master the jutsu, Mamushi shows up. So it's
Yeah.
like literally they just got done with the last mission yesterday, like the day before yesterday. Literally yesterday, I think, Sarada had her confession to Sumire about that damn Boruto feelings crap. So it hasn't
Well,
been
it's not
longer
just
than a
that.
freaking.
Remember, the Sumire said it's going to take several days to complete the sword.
And that too. And then not only did she complete the sword, but now she has a mysterious compound. I'm sorry, I know I'm trying to bash the board, but like she has this mysterious compound in it. So all of a
I
sudden, this
love it.
magical 24 hours, everybody's able to become Superman because we got Enoja mastering the jutsu. Somehow Shikamaru was able to break down the entirety of the mission and his circumstance to his son Shikadai. And then all like, I don't know. I don't know.
It's
Because
Ikimoto wanting his
Let
cake
me play
and having it
devil's
do.
advocate. All right,
okay.
we got Amado, right? Amado, he is known to speed things up. Did Amado say it will take her 3 days, or did he just like give her
Sumire wasn't
the
sure if she could complete it within a week.
what?
she wasn't sure. She Boruto said, "Complete this sword. Can you fix it within a week?" And she said, "This shit don't even exist in this world." That was her response.
So
That's literally what she said.
could it possibly be that Amado seen that future what had happened and he gave
You
her
mean
the
you mean
advice of
Koji? You mean Koji?
Koji? Sorry, you're right.
Say that again.
Like Koji gave her the information on how to speed up the process, kind of like how Boruto when he learned the flying Raijin, it said
I
he
mean,
triggered.
the scroll definitely did, but even with that, because she confirmed it would take a while, but then also it appears based on her dialogue that she added something extra because Boruto was even surprised
Hmm.
when she said, and then we got another cutoff, so we got another conversation we're gonna eventually flash back to, but they cut it off. She's like, I added a special materia compounded into the katana, so she it's like they paid her to do a 10% job and she returned in a quick time and did 15%. That don't make
Mm,
no sense.
yeah,
That's basically what happens. And then it's the timelines. So if Enojin completed, I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm doing suspension of disbelief. So my headcanon is it's been 3 days. Enojan pulled up to from Himawari's house when he brought the honey, and then that whole conversation, that whole chapter took 1 day. The next day, Kashin Koji reveals, okay, this is that, that is this, and then on this second day, Boruto goes to Sumire, brings her the sword, and then Kashin Koji's like, Mamushi should come in a week, or well, he said that the day before. So the day before, he said Mamushi should come in a week. It can be earlier. So on this day, on the second day, now that Enojan's here, then he learns he has to learn a new jutsu and all of that stuff. Then he says it's going to take me 1 day. So then at the end of that day is where we get to chapter 28. Despite it saying several days later, you just have to, I don't know, somebody added a pen mistake or something. That several days later at the end of chapter 27 messes everything up. But
Yeah,
if
well,
you
keep
take
in
that into
mind,
account, if you take that
Konohamaru
into account, it could have been 3 days. And then,
Konohamaru
oh,
goes
fuck, yeah.
straight to the interrogation room. There's not time in between it. Shikamaru's
Oh my
worried that
God.
he's going to be
Yeah.
next. Then
You are
Mitsuki
so fucking
walks
right.
in. There's
You
zero
are
time in
so
between.
fucking
But
right.
Mitsuki's
Literally in the
interrogation is
next chapter,
during the
yes.
invasion.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything I just said, disregard everything I just said.
It's so bad.
Because it's the fact that
Wait, what?
Konohamaru is still in the fact that Konohamaru is still in the interrogation room from chapter 26, I believe,
Yeah.
when he got called in. That lays me like either he's been getting questioned for days, or or what's it? It was like I don't know. So yeah, you're right.
Even though like 2 chapters ago, wasn't he saying that this is pretty quick considering Konohamaru's an idiot, so he can't be the traitor?
Exactly. So it couldn't have been days for him to come to the conclusion that Konohamaru's an idiot, and it couldn't have been days for Konohamaru to say, "Yeah, I thought Boruto was bad, but now I'm not really feeling it." Like that's like a 30 hour at max conversation right
Yeah.
there. And then in chapter 28, Konohama was literally leaving and getting suspected by side, and Mitsuki is walking in. So they say Konohamaru, he calls Konohamaru in chapter 27. At the end of chapter 27, it says several days later.
Yeah, my
So I'm
problem with it
thinking,
is so how blatant it is. Like, we picked up on this immediately the first time we read it because of how obvious and in your face it's spitting at you. It's not just some side thing. This is, like, inexcusable in a way.
but you can, I'm trying to think. So if you can make it work, can we go, like, it says several days later at the end of chapter 27. What if the start of chapter 28 is kind of like a flashback? Leading up
But
to,
they're not
like,
going to say
I don't
it,
know.
even though they said it at the end of 27.
They're not going to say it, but that's the only way it can work. Because if the first half of chapter 28 is a flashback, then everything else makes sense. Because it says several days later, but Boruto is going back after Enojan masters his jutsu in a day to go get his sword. So yeah, man, you got me started on this, Oodie, because that's something I kept to myself. Because apparently nobody was talking about it when the chapter dropped,
And
and I didn't want to be
other
the one
people
to
are
bring it
just
up like that.
forgiving it because it's not a big deal. And it's not a big deal.
It's
But it's
not, but yeah, it's
so
one of those.
obvious.
It's one of those things that's like, bro, this is literally 24 hours worth of content, but you're telling us it's been a few days, and that's
Yeah, people are having
normally
conversations
whatever
days
the
apart
author
somehow.
says is right, but that's factually incorrect. At the end of chapter 27, it has not been several days later.
Like,
It
Mitsuki
has
has to be
not.
talking to Shikamaru like 3 days in the future instead of the present somehow.
Like, come on, like they have to make it make sense somehow. But
Yeah.
thankfully, it's not that big of a deal to where it ruins everything. But it is something that you notice. It's like several days.
Yeah,
I don't
free
know.
game. Sorry to readdress that. It's just Black was really really passionate about that topic.
I'm happy because nobody brought it up to me before, so that was my first time getting to talk about that. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good. Hey, we got a comment on Twitch, and Black, I want you to send me this picture that I sent in the group chat through text messages.
Oh, I
It
was
was
looking
about
for it.
code.
Is it code? Oh, I see.
Yeah, send it to me real quick so I can put it on the screen
I got you.
because they want to know if Cole will have a new any. Do y'all think we'll see anything from Cole in the next chapter? I just wanted to show this real quick.
So personally,
But just to answer the question, no, I don't really see Cole having an appearance in the next chapter at
yeah,
all.
I don't know if it's going to be in the next
I
chapter.
don't think Code is even the focus right now.
I think the next major
But
development in the
chapters
story.
ahead of time, yeah.
Oh, am I lagging or is free game lagging?
Are one of y'all lagging?
No,
Probably
you're
good.
good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the next chapter, but I think Code pulling up on Koji is going to be the next major development in the story.
On Koji, okay.
I feel like it has to happen. Koji needs to be removed. Code's the best person to do it. Code has to be alive for a reason. That gives everyone something to do in the best possible way.
So do you think? I think Koji might die this arc. That's something I've been telling people. So do you think that's a possibility? Because everybody's
I just do
screaming
the same
Ada
thing, bro.
and Himawari, but yeah, I think Koji
I
might
don't
take the
think
fuck.
it's going to happen next chapter. If anything, it might be the end of chapter cliffhanger, and then they focus on the following chapter with
Well,
that.
yeah, I don't think he's gonna
But
die in the chat, but like at the very least in this arc, like in the Konoha Mamushi invasion arc, I think this arc one of its most major death will be Koji dying at the end.
forget, this is
Yo,
so
but
fake.
look
I
at
love
this.
this.
Look at this.
Look at Koji.
This Murphy guy, he's always known for putting out fake leaks and stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty dope, though. It says first leak of Boruto TBV Chapter 29. Code is back with a power up.
Do y'all remember before we got the Shinju, that code in Tentel's fusion uh panel that went around? It kind of reminds me of it's kind of hold on, let me
I
go.
think so, yeah. There was also a code
He
as a
has the, like
Shinju.
black orbs like Naruto had.
Yeah, the Truth
Like
Seeker
the true
orbs.
secret orbs.
Let me see. Let me see. Because there was this one popular thing. It was prior to the Shinju being revealed. Everybody thought it was going to be Code merging with the Ten Tails.
I have 2 different fake spoilers that I can show if y'all want as well.
Yeah, we might. One of them might be the same one that I'm trying to look for.
Okay.
Honestly,
Maybe. If you're looking for the code one, that's not what I was thinking. But no, the code one looks really great. If you're thinking of the
Yeah.
same one
oh,
I am.
I just found the code one I was looking for.
Yeah.
Here, I'm about to send it to you free.
Okay. And while
Yeah.
you're
Damn
doing
it.
that, yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us on Twitch and supporting the pod. We are affiliates now, so you can leave like super gifts, or I still gotta figure out how this Twitch thing works, like gifts or subs or whatever. Y'all know better than I do.
Yep.
Just-
Nigga,
That's it.
do some shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I don't know. Gift up, whatever the fuck Tyson that be saying though. Oh yeah, this is the thing I sent. So this was before we even got this is like around I think early stages of TBV, like chapter 1, chapter 2, before we saw the Shinju.
this was like fan made.
Yeah, this is
I'm
fan.
assuming,
Yeah, this is fan made.
if I'm smart.
Yeah. Here, I'll also
But
send
technically-
you one free game. This one, so that's like code as a Notsuki or code as Sintails or whatever. The one I'll send you right now is code as a Shinju. It looks pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
want to see that one. I wanna see that one.
Oh man, you know,
Yeah,
You want
send it
me-
over.
real quick. I'm gonna see. I'm send it to this real quick.
Wait, while you're sending that, Oodie, quick question. Do you read JJK Modulo by any chance?
JJK? No, haven't read much into that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm just sending you a bunch of things right now, free game.
Wait,
Oh,
let me
this
see
is
that. Is that him killing Ishiki?
That's just a new fake spoiler that someone made. Is the Ten Tails just devouring Ishiki? And I have the
another
third
world.
one right here.
In another world, in my head, all of that is Jura in part 1 Boruto when he's like rampaging and then tied down in that dimension. That's all Jura. So Jura's definitely justified to kill Ishiki like that for being enslaved for who knows how long he was trapped in that dimension.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's cool.
Actually, when you think about it, Jura just did a long prison stint, and now that he's out, he's trying to enjoy the simple pleasantries of life. So it makes sense that he just goes around looking at books and eating takoyaki. If you really think about it, he spent the last like millennia probably locked up behind bars. He's like, "Hey, I'm just here just to enjoy life." Now this one is the
This
best one
one
I've
is
seen.
fire too. The
Yeah,
real
the
new.
fan made code. Shinju code is kind of even
Yeah, this
embarrassing
one
though, because it's like,
is.
damn, you already had the power of the claw marks at your disposal, but it had to take a Shinju version of you to actually get serious.
I love to see it. Kind of reminds me of
Right.
Majin Buu in a way.
Oh my goodness, Majin Buu.
So good. I sent
Yeah,
an
chat want to
Orochimaru
know.
Shinju too.
You said what?
I sent in Orochimaru Shinju as well. There's also
Oh,
another
let me
spoiler
see.
page I
Hold on.
sent. Yeah, there's another spoiler page there. And Orochimaru is a Shinju. It's cool, bro. Hey, we get him back like that, I'm down. With the snake claw mark.
What if Orochimaru Shinju is actually like nice, like even nicer than Jura, bro?
Facts.
Bro, he
Or at
should
Like
be.
least,
that shit would be so funny.
Orochimaru's
just-
already Otsutsuki level.
Literally.
if that brings me up a
Dang,
good.
bro.
That brings up a good topic. If you guys could have picked any shinobi or whatever to become a Shinju, who would you guys have picked?
I would have added Naruto as well as Sasuke.
Nah, they sealed away. Well, Sasuke already Shinju.
Because and I know I said as well as Sasuke. So if in my
Yeah, that'd
in
be
my
good.
vision, if you had Jiraiya at the top and then Naruto and Sasuke Shinjus as effective and very impactful villain lieutenants, that could be a beautiful story.
Yeah, let's say that Juro realizes if he devours Naruto, he'll get information, but he can only get information once. If he lets Naruto be a Shinju, he'll get information for as long as Naruto's around.
And then imagine a Naruto, hypothetically, like we already know how Hidari acts, but imagine a Naruto and Hidari Shinju running dual missions and just
Exactly.
just tearing shit apart, bro. And then I think it would be funny. Like imagine the Naruto Shinju clone being the level-headed, smart one, and Hidari obviously being Hidari.
So I got something even better for you. Something even better. The Naruto and Sasuke Shinju get in some sort of disagreement over whatever. They have a fight.
Oh my god, that would be better. Like they just
Right?
literally start fighting in the middle of a mission, bro. Like,
The craziest
that shit
thing,
would've worked.
imagine it's that Naruto wants to destroy the village and Hidari doesn't to protect Sarada.
And it's all because of no, Jura said this. Well, it doesn't matter if Jura says this if we give him the results. Like that could be the basis of the argument.
Hey, how y'all feel about this? Killer Bee Senju or Hinabi Senju?
Hanabi Shinju goes
Hanabi
crazy
Shinju would be crazy.
for the Gooners, bro.
Hanabi is top one Hyuga. I ain't gonna lie, bro. She's the only because like if you look at the Hyuga are weird to me. Like the eyes being gray is like one of the most weirdest and nastiest things in my life. So I don't know how people like fan service the Hyuga, but Hanabi for some reason I don't know how they designed. Yeah, Hanabi is one for the century, and Shinju Hanabi would do numbers in the.
You know what? Okay, let's say it is Hanabi as the Shinju. Hinata's not there to narratively fight against her. Do we just have it be Konohamaru again for another romance arc?
Fuck no. Hell, he don't deserve Hanabi. He do not deserve Hanabi. He does not even deserve her. I give him the benefit of the doubt with Moegi because they've been on the team since they were kids. But nah, bro.
Bro, his girlfriend is his ninja
I would
way.
say him Worry.
The Hyuga clan is already implementing like they got the Uzumaki clan in the clan. They done gave the Byakugan to the Uzumaki clan. If Inojin locks this down with Himawari, now the Yamanaka clan has the fucking Byakugan too. So we don't need no Sarutobi, especially Konohamaru, marrying into the family. We don't need no Sarutobis coming down with the Byakugan and just destroying everything, bro. Even though the Hyuga supposedly supposed to be the strongest clan in the village, we don't need them being any more weaker than they already are.
From the most pure clan to the most diluted.
Literally, from the most pure to the most diluted. Bro. You got freaking Uzumaki Hyuga mix already on the verge of Yamanaka. You throw in Sarutobi. It's like, what are we doing?
I love to see it.
I got another topic for you guys, because we're probably going to end a little soon. I did a premiere on YouTube and I put a post on there, and the post. Sorry, not the post. The poll excuse me, it was is Mamushi good match for Daemon. And the votes, as you can see here, we got an 83% that says yes and a 17% that says no.
Wait. Can you say the question again? 83% said yes to what question?
Will Mamushi be the perfect match for Daemon?
And they said yes. Okay, so that's a tricky question because what does perfect match mean?
Yeah. Because, I
Uh,
mean, there's nothing wrong with me and Black saying, yeah, he'll be the perfect match, but what that means can mean something different out someone else.
no. For instance, all right. So, like, if you go back to like the Sarada thing, Sarada was the perfect match for Ryu because her gravitation,
It
her
absorbed all of
gravity,
that sand.
yeah, absorbed all of that.
So what
Like,
you mean by it is, based on your interpretation, you're basically saying that Sarada counters Ryu, but someone else could interpret that as, like, narratively, that's like a perfect match. Like, for example, like Naruto versus Sasuke is like a perfect match for, like, the story.
yes,
I think you well, like technically, so yeah, technically like a perfect counter, like a perfect hard counter to your ability. Like if I weren't fighting you, I would be completing my mission right now.
hmm
And no, I do not think he's that to Damon.
Yeah. Because at that point,
I don't.
anyone with clones is the perfect match for Daemon.
Yeah,
Naruto is the perfect match for Daemon, and Naruto's
and
not the perfect match for
and
Daemon.
honestly, prior to the last pod, I was on with Oodie and Juju because y'all were the ones who broke it down. Like, well, I think it was Juju more so on this point where like technically, if Mamushi is still operating on instinct or intent, whatever, whether it be natural or unnatural, it's still an instinct or intent. So those thoughts could be reflected, murderous or not. And then we went into the whole tangent of how Damon's reflects and how stronger it gets the more murderous your intent. So we don't have to go through all of that again. But
Mhm.
just understanding that and going down that rabbit hole is like, yeah, I don't even think he's a hard counter because it wouldn't make sense. Because even if he bases on like uh, natural animalistic instinct would be an intent to murderously harm you and kill you, devour you. So if he aims that towards Damon, it's gonna go right back. So I don't know. I think it's just like if you throw in
I
Ultra
mean,
Instinct Goku in the verse and he can't think and he can throw those punches, yeah, he can fight David. Other than that, if no one here has Ultra Instinct, they can't fight David. Ultra
Yeah.
Instinct and he can't be touching anybody.
Black, I do have a question for you as Damon's second biggest fan. So, right behind me, yeah. So, I was theorizing something with Conway last night, and I don't think this is gonna happen. I don't think narratively this would be the best idea. But as Damon's number one fan, I'm so down. What if either Ada or Daemon just don't have powers, and it's only one of them? It's not both of them. So, for example, Ada doesn't have omnipotence. It's going to be a major revelation. Daemon has it and is projecting omnipotence essentially onto Ada to where she thought she had it all along when she just doesn't. Or vice
That would be
versa.
cracked, bro. That would be cracked. Because then that would mean he would have freaking reflection in so he's able to reflect his abilities onto people if he wants to.
Yeah,
At
that's
this
sort of
point,
where I
why
got
isn't he
to
the
it.
main villain? Why isn't he the main villain, or like why isn't he the main character in a cosmic
Yeah.
world at this point? Because I don't get that. That would be wild.
No,
I
I'd be
mean,
down for that revelation. Damon's just got
that
everything at that
because
point.
it's like if you think about it, I'm under the consensus that he has at least one more ability.
I
Because
agree.
why would you stop Code from like getting that information out of Damon if you're not going to reveal it?
100%.
And I don't use because I know a lot of people would counter with that to like the whole Amato's breakdown of Ada and Damon's ability, and Amato only mentioned Damon's reflection. Well, Amato didn't know the love ability was a byproduct of omnipotence, so he wouldn't know all of their abilities even if he thought he did, right? So I don't think it's far fetched to believe that he probably only assumed like, damn, this kid is crazy strong, and anything you think or try to do to him comes back at you. So let's just leave that alone.
Well,
I think
let's
he got
remember
so freaked out at that first ability, he didn't even try to think what else he could possibly do.
we don't have to rely on just that alone. Damon's never been pushed. He hasn't needed to use any other
On top of
ability,
that, too.
regardless of other statements. So he can
Yeah.
easily have more abilities, just regardless of that.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, it's
y'all
gonna be.
forget one
I,
thing.
What's
Yeah,
up?
forget one thing though. In the Naruto series, it's not always about strength.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about strategy. I mean, I don't know how Bug operates. He gets animalistic, so I mean, I don't think that applies to him, but it could be a possibility that he does get the upper hand on him.
I think Damon's only weakness right now, and it only works with a certain amount of opponents. And even if you have the weakness, and I'm not counting the fact that his hands have to be, I don't count that. That's just how his abilities work. That's not a weakness because we've seen for him that's not a problem if he doesn't want it to be. I think his only weakness is that he's a kid. And regardless of how strong he is and how he's never been pushed to the limits, his experience is limited. So
I don't know about
it's
that.
gonna
We
take a
don't know how
I,
old Daemon is because he hasn't aged over the time skip. You can say that's just
well, that is
Ikimoto
true.
art style, but I mean, I
I
just
I
don't think
think
so.
I think yeah, but I don't know. I think I would like to say I know for a fact. I wouldn't say I know for a fact because yeah, his age isn't confirmed. Only Ada's, but we know he's her little brother and she's 19. So at the
Mhm.
very least, he's younger than 19 years old. So that's why I operate like he's a teenager, probably maybe 12, a very short 12-year old, short 13-year old, maybe 14, maybe around Himawari's age. I say maybe a year younger because Boruto did say he was too young to have a crush on her at the time in part one. So maybe, but I'd say that only because I say it takes right now a combination of strength and intelligence, an exceedingly amount of so to beat Damon. Because let's say you're able to expose the fact that he's a kid, but you're not strong enough to overcome that. I'm only emphasizing that because like literally thinking like I don't think there's any way you can physically beat him other than being simply stronger and faster than him. So if you can exploit the fact that he's a kid and he likes a challenge, I don't know how you can take advantage, but that's something
I don't
with the
think
right
so.
mindset, the right intelligence, you could like let's say Sasuke. I think Sasuke would be able to take advantage because Sasuke, at the very least, one eye, one arm, army of claw grinds, and a juiced up code with infuriation emotions because he wants to kill him, still managed to somehow survive that fight and only turn into a tree as opposed to actually dying, which Code said he was going to do. So I think someone maybe like the intelligence level of Sasuke or Shikamaru, and then the strength of obviously someone like Damon or someone stronger could overcome Damon, but just one or the other is like his abilities is too cracked, and then on top of that, he's too strong. So you
Damon
gotta
wants
find
the
a way to
smoke with
expose him.
everyone. He's very interested in fighting strong level people. I think when he's awake and not yawning or bored or sleeping, he's probably shadowboxing in his head. So I'm going to give him experience just based on that alone. But even then,
Maybe.
kids in Naruto just can be cracked. Just ignoring Kakashi's statement about Haku or whatever you want to think about that. Oh, people can be younger than you but stronger than me. But then
Yeah.
we see Minato, Kid Kakashi, Kid Itachi, Kid Neji, Kid Sasuke. Each of them, regardless of their power level, they have the most like cracked strategy, intelligent move behind the move. Shikamaru IQ over 200. So like children in Naruto just can have, regardless of experience, already just adult level battle tactician skills. Daemon might just be one of these prodigies.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you were to think about with everything Shikamaru would have at his disposal, how would he go about defeating Daemon? Like if he's the Hokage, he had the pieces he has right now at his disposal. How would you go about taking out Daemon in 8 hour
See, the
condition?
the
If
problem with
if
that,
peace wasn't an option.
the anime ruined that for Shikamaru, and I think in a really cool way. Ishiki was so strong, he overcame any gap in intelligence that Shikamaru ever possibly could have
Yeah,
made up. He tells
I
the
remember
Konoha
that. Yeah.
Defense Force, "Sorry guys, this time
I
I
don't know
don't have
what
a
to do.
strategy." Yeah, I can't think of a single thing.
That's so true. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And that's a testament because it's like it's all these years and Kawaki has not decided to. I'm pretty sure Kawaki doesn't like Damon. I know Damon doesn't like Kawaki. So yeah, it's like why hasn't Kawaki stepped to Damon because he knows he can't. So it's like, yeah, man, you're right. You're right. It's just his strength is almost. It's just and it's something that's so normal for him that maybe for us we have gotten so used to it that we forgot originally. Like, yeah, he's because this. I see so many people now when we're talking about the strongest. Like, it's crazy that Damon is barely cracking top fives these days, and I'm like, what's going on, people? What are we reading the same story? Because like everything Damon has done has led me to believe that he views everybody he's come across, everybody that's mentioned to him as beneath him. One of my favorite things to go back is in part one when they're talking about Kawaki, and this is one of the main arguments I use for why Damon was stronger than quote unquote stronger than Ishiki, because it's like Damon said, now granted, a character is very much truthful. A character can say something in a story and they be wrong themselves. But
Mhm.
Damon literally said, after Amato came from explaining, oh, Kawaki now is the strongest person in this village. No one can defer to his power, not even Naruto the Hokage or even Sasuke, the two greatest powers we have, right? And then he goes on to later say that, and on top of that, his powers are likely to keep on growing with full abilities and capabilities of Ishiki, yada yada yada. Damon hears all of that, and I think either he was either in the middle of saying something. I mean, he was either in the middle of eating something or drinking something. But he looked up at Amato. He says, "Who cares about that?" If there's like, or he said something like Otsutsuki or whatever, I'm gonna take them out. Like, he literally said, Amato was like, bro, Kabuki is about to get all of Ishiki's power. He's gonna keep on growing. And Damon said, I don't care. It doesn't matter if you're Otsutsuki or whatever. I'm still gonna be like he literally he's like, it don't matter if they're Otsutsuki. So Damon has been giving me signs since part one that like, yeah, he's
Exactly.
stronger than what we imagined. And it wasn't until he whooped Cole that my eyes opened because honestly, I thought he was going to be Unlimited Code's first victim. And y'all have heard me say this. And once he whooped Code, then I understood
Hmm.
then, okay, yeah, this guy's the strongest in the story. And there's
Yep.
no, like, and I know people want to say Damon's power has been used as a benchmark. Nah, I think that has been used for
Completely not.
Boruto because Boruto has been fighting everybody. So we scale based off of how well they do against Boruto. Damon is still sitting back and chilling. I haven't even done nothing in TBV. So it's yeah, bro.
Yeah, because an
But this
OP character is a dynamic in a story. It's a character role. So the
Yeah,
benchmark, it doesn't exist for them. That's not how that works with what type of character Damon even is.
yeah.
but this also implied like Damon, he doesn't really know about like dormant power. Like he didn't realize it until Kurama showed like a little kernel and Himawari.
So I actually have something about that. So based off of what Ikimoto said in that interview, where Gaiman is sensing the potential synergy, future
Well,
synergy of Kurama, and
interview crazy.
yeah,
Well,
that
yeah,
interview
that
is
sort of goes against what Free Game's saying. He's not sensing the synergy. He's sensing the potential.
that's what. No, so I'm
That is
saying
the
that to
dormant
say
power.
I think, and me personally, I think what he senses in that moment is literally Kurama being born. I think Kurama
Mm.
for a split second manifested inside of Himawari at that moment, and he was birthed into a kernel, and then after that it became dormant. So at that moment, Damon sensed the birth of Kurama within Himawari, and obviously the future potential of whatever they have going on. So that's how I process it, and
Well,
I've
that's
only
another
came to
thing.
that conclusion after the interview. So
That's another thing. So Damon was able to sense that. He was able to sense the Uzuhiko making the earth roar or whatever. Damon just
mm,
has like arguably and this is going to sound
one of the
ridiculous.
best sensing abilities. Yeah.
Arguably the best sensory ability in all of the Naruto series. Of all characters, Damon might be number one at even sensory. So you're not going to be able to catch him off guard or do a move behind the move to out tactician him, out strategize him, whatever. Mamushi's not going to be able to do that to Damon to get behind his back or whatever. Damon's going to sense it. Ada's
Yeah.
safe. He can't be
Yeah.
safer.
Literally, and then also it's like in every future iteration, Kashin Koji has shown us a dead Kawaki. He's shown us a dead Boruto. He's shown us a dead Sarada. We've seen a dead Ada. We've seen a dead Himawari. We have never, ever, ever seen a dead Daemon,
Literally.
despite all of these futures. So every time the world is destroyed, Daemon is not there. That it's my headcanon, but I also think like I'm factually correct because even in the visions where these characters are dying and we see characters breathing, we only see Inojin over Himawari's dead. Where the hell is Boruto? Where's Kawaki at? Right? So people are talking, oh, Damon's dead. That's why we don't see him. Well, then Boruto and Kawaki must be dead, but that can't be right because if they're dead, in that future, Inojin sees that dead body of Himawari, then goes on to learn a new jutsu. So if Boruto or Kawaki are dead, that means the world is ended. The Inojin would have never learned that jutsu. But obviously, since that's not the case, in that future, both Boruto and Kawaki are alive. So that tells me Damon is alive. So that tells me either A, they figured out a way to exploit Damon's cockiness or his overconfidence and his strength. I can't call it overconfidence, his confidence in his strength. They found a way to exploit that, or Ada somehow, some way which we've seen her do before, left Damon's side using her ability to fly because something that was so intriguing or so pulling led her to make that decision. And it was at that moment that she got caught
For the
lacking or
Ada
got caught
death?
off guard.
Oh, no. My
Yeah.
interpretation of that one, you could call it a reach if you want. My interpretation of that one is, first of all, I think the Inojin holding Himawari, I don't think that was a future that has yet to come that they're trying to remove.
You
I
did. I
think,
remember you did.
Yeah. It was chapter 11. That future's already been snuffed out. It's already not come to pass. Same with Ada. I think Ada is impossible for her to die. I don't think there's a possible future where she dies currently because Daemon came back. In the past, when Ada chose to have Daemon come back, that right there made that split of that timeline. From that moment onwards, Daemon's resurrected or whatever, awake. Ada can't be killed anymore. So the future that we saw of Ada being wrapped up in the tree is the future where Daemon was just never there.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be mad at that. It's only that it's like all of these futures, Kashin Koji has been saying, oh yeah, don't do this to Jura. Jura's going to be mad. It's like people are forgetting that it is not, that is no way to beat Jura. It's just that the way that Kashin Koji saw Jura was defeated, it's a very thin line and we got to stay on that rope. So it's not impossible to kill this dude. So basically what my question is, in all of these futures that Kashin sees that Jura does win in, do you believe that Daemon was not unsealed in those futures, or probably in the process of being sealed?
No, I don't think that. I think that's just for the Ada one. And I think that's fine considering Koji had multiple visions ever since the Ishiki fight. Realistically, for example, Code wins true. In a future that never happened. So I think that's fine. I think all the futures where Jura wins, Daemon just has done what he's been doing for these first 28 chapters, and that's nothing. Because in my opinion...
I was just about to say that, absolutely nothing.
Exactly. Ada and Daemon, in my opinion, they don't really care about saving the Earth. They have teleportation. They can just go to another dimension. As long as they have Kawaki, they can just restart or whatever. They don't care about Konoha. They don't have any allegiance to this planet. I don't think they care if the planet and everyone on it dies.
Nah, that's right. That's right.
What about like Sarada and Sumire though?
I mean, now with the revelation of the latest chapter, she's probably has some conflicting feelings. But for like those previous futures where all the worlds where Jura won, I think I don't think that's too far off what Oodie is saying.
Yeah, considering we already saw it might be different now, but Sarada was about to be devoured in like what, chapter 10, chapter 11. Ada didn't do anything. She didn't send Daemon. She just did nothing at all. So
yeah, and she was freaking out when Kawaki was about to get done, and she was like, "Oh, yeah. Look, Kawaki's about to die, Koji. What's going on?" Or exactly. No, when Boruto was about to die or something, she was like, "Yeah, Koji, Boruto's about to die. What's going on?" So yeah, I agree. I think in all of those futures, it's definitely like you said. Damon's just not there. He's chilling. He's somewhere else, and it's one of those. He looks up. He's like, "Why is this guy doing that?" And boom, the world ends. So that's what happens. And I also think that if we take into account what Koji says, if I'm not telling you something, that's because I really want that future to happen. I don't think he's ever uttered the word Daemon once in Boruto 2 Vortex.
Well, so that could actually be a good thing. If Daemon does exactly what he's supposed to do, Koji has no reason to interfere. If Koji's not speaking Daemon's name and Koji wants the future to be saved, Daemon's doing exactly that.
No, you're right. You're right. And then what's the name? And then I was really saying on like the whole entire premise of, because if he would have said Daemon name in any iteration, it's because he's implementing some type of plan. Now he told Inogen, if I don't say nothing, it's because I need that thing to happen. It's ideal enough to where I got to keep that to myself.
Well, right? It's also
all of these,
because Koji, his thing is changing the future or like going down certain paths and making sure he goes down the best paths. He's basically doing that to train people who are weak. If he's not doing that with Daemon, Daemon's already on the level that he needs Daemon to be at. Daemon doesn't need training to be stronger to do what he needs to do.
Exactly what I was about to say.
You can't say that though. He could always get stronger. Just
because
he says he's strongest right now, it doesn't mean that there's threats out there that's not strong. That's stronger than Daemon. Or not stronger than Daemon.
but picking up off of what Oodie just said, because that's what I was getting to. Just like how he's directing the future to where Sarada or Himawari awakens Kurama or awakens their Mangekyo, reawakens, I guess, right? I think canonically he's trying to steer us into the future where Damon actually takes action, as
Mm.
opposed to the infinite amount of futures where he's just there chilling and he's taking things nonchalantly. He needs the future where Boruto is alive and poses a strong enough threat against Jura, but also B, where Damon takes action. Because if Damon takes action, that's the future where Jura dies.
Actually, that's a
Whether
really
it be
cool
Damon,
idea
whether
because
it be Damon the one or someone else, but yeah.
because we know that Daemon has personal investment or care to some degree about Himawari. Same with Ada now about Sarada. If he can make Himawari and Sarada people that Daemon and Ada are going to care more about, that's more likely to influence them to act in the future. I like that interpretation. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like it started off with that Sarada Sumire, like he threatened them, and then also right after that threat, what happens? Boom, Sumire, Sarada, and Ada have their first full like intimate and close moment as true friends, and Damon's just there in the background smiling. So that like at the
Yeah.
very least, he's happy for what he sees his sister is able to obtain. So maybe he wants to protect that. Maybe he only wants to protect his sister. Who knows? But I think Katsukoji's trying to juggle his dice. He's like, bro, if I can just keep on making sure things go more and more, don't say anything. Hopefully, we get Damon to stand up out of this couch and says, "All right, that's enough. I'll do it myself."
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And as Jamie Lit said, I think Damon is going to have to sacrifice himself to beat Jorah.
See, the
I
reason
think
that doesn't
that's
make
what you
sense
guys
to me,
alluding to as well.
the reflectability is better than any sacrificial move can ever be.
hmm yeah, and they're gonna have to explain.
Excuse me.
They have to say something. Like I don't know. Do you think so? Yuri, real quick, not to spend too much time on it, but do you think Damon has a dojutsu, or do you think maybe his abilities are connected to his eyes, or is just a cool design for his eyes?
I think he should have a dojutsu just because of the whole Toneri moon clan planet thing that was going on. Since it was like it's like the half eclipse versus the full eclipse as well. They're doing a whole thing, and Sarada has the sun power. It'd be really weird if Damon just doesn't have any dojutsu, especially since everyone else does. At this point, Mamushi, Koji's reiterating, he's really emphasizing you have to take out both of Mamushi's eyes, otherwise it's pointless. You might as well just be kicking yourself if you only take out one. So I think
So
that
what if it's revealed? It's something that I thought about. I don't think it will be, but what if it's revealed that his not the reflection of actual physical attacks, but his intent reflection, basically his thoughts reflection, that's only a thing because when he's looking at you, he's essentially reading your mind. So once he hears or sees what you're thinking, he's able to basically just send that back to you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you're talking about this because I've been thinking down the same line of reasoning as well. So has Kitamaki, to where the two different types of reflections he has, the action reflect, as I call it, the physical things that can just happen by accident without any intent, and then the intent itself. Those are seemingly two different abilities, two different reflections in their nature. So if they happen because of two different reasons, that's completely reasonable. I think they might explain that in the future, and the eyes could just be one of the ways they do that.
I think that could be the safest way because say perhaps you have two conditions to ensure you could beat Damon only if you're stronger and faster than him. And those two being you got to get him by himself so he can't reflect actions by touching someone and also be fast enough to stay out of his line of sight. Basically try to catch him
Mhm.
off guard because then he won't be able to read your movements or read your thoughts.
Yeah, it's also cool going back to the whole like Hagoromo's descendants. The one has the power of the body, the other has the power of the eyes. Madara has
Yep.
both. In this case, Damon's basically just being the new Madara.
That's true. That's facts.
I love it.
But yeah, hopefully we get some spoilers soon. Hopefully, chapters dropping
Hopefully.
Thursday. We're gonna have nice. Are we gonna be able to stream on Thursday free or what's up?
Yeah, I'm always downstream, bro.
All right, all righty.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. If you want to support your podcasters, you can leave a cash app there or join or subscribe to the Cloud Ninja podcast on Twitch. Yeah, we'll catch y'all later.
PFS subs,
Peace.
whatever the fuck it's called. Peace.